Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Tuesday, March 2, 2021. CNN report. New satellite images reveal North Korea took recent steps to conceal nuclear weapons site. New satellite imagery obtained by CNN reveals North Korea has recently taken steps to conceal a facility U.S. intelligence agencies believe is being used to store nuclear weapons, a move that could add to the growing sense of urgency from critics who argue the Biden administration needs to articulate a clear strategy on how it will deal with Kim Jong-un going forward. The image, captured by Maxar on February 11 and analyzed by experts at the Middlebury Institute, shows North Korea built new structures at its Yongdukdong site over the course of 2020, an effort researchers say is likely intended to obscure a pair of underground tunnel entrances that lead to the facility where nuclear weapons are stored.
Fox report. COVID-19 pandemic fuels attacks on health workers globally. 2 Nigerian nurses were attacked by the family of a deceased COVID-19 patient. One nurse had her hair ripped out and suffered a fracture. The second was beaten into a coma. Following the assaults, nurses at Federal Medical Center in the southwestern city of Owo stopped treating patients, demanding the hospital improve security. Almost 2 weeks passed before they returned to work with armed guards posted around the clock.
Al Jazeera report. Mississippi City enters third week without running water. Thousands of residents in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, have been without running water since last month, when an icy winter storm paralyzed the city's main water plant and broke pipes that were frozen solid. The ice storm on February 15 trapped many residents in their homes and made roads unpassable in Jackson, Mississippi's capital and its largest city. Days later, another winter storm hit the state, causing thousands of residents of central Mississippi to lose power.
CNN report. I value different things now. Readers share how the pandemic will change their spending habits. Many Americans have changed their spending habits dramatically since the pandemic began. Some lost income and had to cut back. Others found that staying home brought on forced savings since dining out, entertainment, travel and childcare became less available. Others spent more freely in response to boredom and anxiety. So what will happen once the pandemic is over? We asked CNN business readers what spending changes they plan to make once normal life resumes.
BBC report. Afghan war. 3 female media workers shot dead in Jalalabad. Reports say the women, aged 18 to 20, were killed in 2 separate but coordinated attacks. A fourth was critically hurt. Police say they arrested the lead gunman, linking him to the Taliban. The group deny any involvement. A wave of killings has rocked the country, with journalists, activists and other political figures being targeted. The 3 women killed had recently finished high school and worked in the dubbing department of the privately owned Anika's TV station, said its head, Zalmay Latifi.
CNN report. Russian diplomats and their families leave North Korea by hand-pushed rail trolley due to COVID-19 restrictions. 8 employees of Russia's embassy in Pyongyang and their families spent more than 34 hours trying to leave North Korea this week, a grueling trip that ended with at least 1 diplomat pushing his luggage and young children on a railway trolley into Russian territory. North Korea's borders have been effectively locked down for months as part of the Kim Jong-un regime's efforts to keep COVID-19 at bay, stranding the few diplomats operating inside Pyongyang.
Deutsche Welle report. Hungary's postal service to stop delivering newspapers. Hungarian newspapers, TV stations and media platforms have been under pressure from President Viktor Orban's government for many years now. Advertising revenues from state and even private sources have practically dried up. In recent years, press and media platforms have been bought up by business people with close ties to the government and have either been closed down or co-opted. Now the government appears to have found another way of taking aim at the country's independent media.
Deutsche Welle report. Germany plans to extend coronavirus lockdown to March 28. Germany's national government and states are set to extend the COVID-19 lockdown by 3 weeks, to March 28, according to a draft document seen by DW. Chancellor Angela Merkel and the heads of Germany's states will hold discussions the measures on Wednesday. Merkel and the state premiers are working on a draft agreement to allow shops to reopen in areas where the number of coronavirus infections is considered reasonably low.
BBC report. Domestic terror probes up over 40% since 2020, says FBI. Arrests of racially motivated violent extremists, including white supremacists, have nearly tripled since 2017, Mr. Ray told a Senate committee. For the first time, Mr. Ray called the Capitol attack domestic terrorism. Over 260 people have been arrested in connection with the 6th of January storming of the U.S. Capitol to date. Accepting such behavior would make a mockery of our nation's rule of law, Mr. Ray warned during Tuesday's hearing.
Deutsche Welle report. Polish court acquits LGBT activists in Rainbow Virgin Mary case. A Polish court on Tuesday acquitted 3 activists who were accused of desecration and offending religious sentiment for altering, producing and distributing images of a revered Roman Catholic icon that included the LGBT rainbow. The posters used rainbows as halos in an image of the Virgin Mary and the baby Jesus. Their aim was to protest what they considered the hostility of Poland's influential Catholic Church toward LGBT people.
BBC report. Coronavirus. What's behind France's AstraZeneca turnaround? His Europe minister then accused the UK of taking massive risks by depending too heavily on its homegrown jab. Mr. Macron has now said that he would happily receive the AstraZeneca vaccine if that was what he was offered. His government also announced an apparent U-turn by approving the jab for some older people. So what has changed? Have the French now seen the limits of criticizing AstraZeneca and come to understand that there can be no such thing as too many vaccines?
Al Jazeera report. Fantastic step forward. First COVAX vaccines arrive in Nigeria. Nigeria has received its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines, becoming the 3rd country in Africa to get the shots through COVAX, a global scheme formed to ensure fair access to inoculations for low- and middle-income states. A flight carrying 3.94 million doses of the vaccine developed by the University of Oxford and drugmaker AstraZeneca arrived shortly before noon on Tuesday at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in the capital, Abuja.
Fox report. Burma protesters take to streets day after deadly crackdown. Yangon, Burma. Demonstrators in Burma took to the streets again on Tuesday to protest last month's seizure of power by the military, as foreign ministers from Southeast Asian countries prepared to meet to discuss the political crisis. Police in Yangon, Burma's biggest city, used tear gas against the protesters. The planned special meeting of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations comes in the wake of worsening violence in Burma.
Fox report. Portland sports bar owner forced to shut down after business vandalized. Blast City response to riots. A Portland sports bar owner told America's Newsroom Tuesday that he is totally frustrated with the city's response to riots that have damaged businesses and government buildings for nearly a year. Field Bar and Grill owner Jim Rice said he was forced to shut down his restaurant over the weekend after it was vandalized, despite his plea for help from city officials, who he said failed to step up.
Fox report. Teens sue exclusive Catholic high school for $20 million over blackface allegations. 2 teens who were booted from an exclusive California Catholic school over a blackface photo are suing the school for $20 million, claiming they were actually wearing acne treatment masks. The former students, identified only as HH and AH, accused St. Francis High School in Mountain View of overreacting to the innocent selfie and scapegoating the teens amid racial tensions in the wake of George Floyd's police custody death, the San Francisco Chronicle reported.
Al Jazeera report. Cboe seeks green light for first U.S. Bitcoin ETF. Cboe Global Markets Inc. is seeking approval to list and trade shares of what could be the first Bitcoin exchange-traded fund in the U.S. Cboe, in a Monday filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, sought the green light for the VanEck Bitcoin Trust. VanEck Associates Corp. in December applied to start an ETF tracking the largest cryptocurrency. It is at least the 3rd time since 2018 that Cboe has teamed with VanEck to seek a fund approval.
CNN report. China is sounding the alarm about a global market bubble. One of China's most powerful financial officials is sounding the alarm over a bubble in global markets. Guo Shuqing, the Communist Party boss at the People's Bank of China, told reporters in Beijing on Tuesday that confidence in Chinese markets could be hit by volatility around the world. "We are really afraid the bubble for foreign financial assets will burst someday," said Guo, who is also chairman of China's Banking and Insurance Regulatory Commission. Cboe's warning follows concerns expressed elsewhere that bubble-like behavior is spreading through financial markets.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.